Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, what are we talking about? I don't know. What's the what?
Happy Friday. We made
Happy
it.
Friday.
Another week on the books, everybody.
We did it.
We
How many is that? How many weeks is that? That's
it is
how old are we? How old am I? We're gonna do the charts. We're gonna do the math.
21
calculations.
21 was the Monday, so that makes this wait. Was 21? No, 20
What are you talking
20
about?
21 was last Friday, right?
Oh yeah. I'm
So that
talking about
makes this
life. Like in life, how many weeks have you had?
22
How many
was
weeks
on
old are
Monday
you?
and I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the part.
This is 23rd episode.
This is episode. No. Yes.
Yes.
This is episode.
If 21 was
20.
last Friday, then Monday would have been 22, which makes this 23. Welcome to the show.
I mathed.
Math is a difficult thing. There are a lot of weeks in life, and now we're here.
Hunter, how was your week?
Deep, dude. I'm so tired.
What? Are you serious? I can't tell.
I'm exhausted.
See,
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
you seem perfectly fine. Why could you possibly? You know what's funny? And this is not. And I know that this is a bad quality of mine. To relate, I shove out experiences that I have in relation to what I think to the person I'm talking to. But then what it sounds like is it sounds like I'm doing that douchey thing of, oh yeah, you have that problem. Like you've given birth, person. I also have stubbed my toe while going out and walking around in the dark and know what pain is like. So it's like I'm trying to one up somebody.
Uh-huh.
So you're like, you say you stayed up later with your adventure and so you're tired, right?
Yeah.
Completely legitimate. And my default reaction is, yeah, I was up till 3:30. Like I have and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
I was up late as well, and I'm
Mhm.
also tired. But what it ends up being is, oh, you stayed up till 12:30. That's cute. I was up till 3:30.
Yeah.
And that is not my intention, but I have no other way to flavor that. So I don't know how to share
You
experiences without sounding like an asshole.
try to relate with somebody, but you're just one-upping them of like, it's
and not
cute that you
intentionally.
think that was late.
Exactly.
I was up
I'm
till
like-
3:30. Yeah.
And I don't know how to share things without being a jerk.
Well, my problem right now is like so the reason last night was so rough was that yesterday I switched from the ADHD med that I was on to a new ADHD med yesterday. So yesterday was the first day on a new med and the first day off of an old med, and so I had the side effects of leaving a med and starting a new one, and it was not fun. But it's like the new one, because it's a new med, they also started me at a much lower dosage, and so it is like not particularly helpful. And also the crash for me happened at like around 6 o'clock, and then my game started at 8 o'clock. And then we went, it was a very combat heavy game, which is already very draining for me. And then it was a long game because we started late, and then it was like in the middle of combat, and I didn't want to end us like before we finished the combat. And so we ended at around 12:30, which then I have a really hard time falling asleep, so I realistically probably fell asleep around like 1:30 or 2. Um, and then just because you said it was you went to bed at 3, yeah, and then I also woke up in the middle of the night, and so I was like definitely like at least 2 extra hours of not sleeping. So I'm more tired than you. Um,
Yeah, no, yeah, mine's is dumb because I do go into the point of like I've fallen asleep and then I wake up, fall asleep, and then I'm like, you should actually go to bed
uh-huh.
because it was my entire family went to bed around 12:30 or 1, and I'm like, I'm gonna do work. And then I sat at my computer to type things and be productive. And I opened up Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels for I don't know why. I was like, maybe I'll do one game to just, and then I had a stupid duel
Add it
going,
add
and
it to the
it
list of things that Junie has said that didn't surprise me even a little bit.
a little, I don't know
Like
why.
the
I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I was when I was a kid, like a lot of people my age. Like I played it, and for some reason, there's this game that brings back the nostalgia factor,
mhm.
and so like I open up every once in a while, and it was 3:30, and I realized that I had been on the same like draw 4 turn of the same like NPC like default duel, and
Uh-huh.
I just kept drawing a card and then blinking, and then 15-20 minutes had passed and I was sleep dueling. Hunter, I have a package here that I was
Yeah.
supposed to
You want to
open,
you want to
and
you
I
want to do
haven't.
a we have a new bit here on the show. And we're going
Mailbag.
to let's get the like we need a little like a little music sting that goes here that's just like I sent you a package and it is from me or something like that. I don't know. That's a
So
blues.
it's like
That's a
incredibly old
it's
Steve from Blue's
it's
Clues.
it's
It's like Steve
blatant
and the guy from
ripoff.
Family
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah. Um oh, I got a
Again.
package here for you.
All right, we'll record that later because that's a combination of
we
things that I can some reason
we,
get behind.
we need a we need a button that soundboards in. Oh, I got a package here for you.
Yo, this is something we can very easily do. I
We
hate it. You know
have
what I
the
hate the most?
technology.
Here's the hot take. There's always a hot take section on our
There is
outline.
always a hot take.
We come up with, unfortunately, too many good ideas. Also
If
an
we
abundance
wanted,
of
if we
bad ones,
wanted
but
this to,
so many good ones.
if we wanted this show to be nothing but bits, and it was just bit after bit after bit, we'd be fine. Is what we're saying.
I don't mean to be actively like counter to what you were saying, but isn't that what this show is?
We try we try and have a content in every episode. We try and do something. We try and make sure that there is some form of consumable content.
Sustenance?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We usually have a topic. We usually
If we
have
if yeah, if
something that
Junie
we're
did
trying to
better,
accomplish.
we would have way more shareable clips and bits and like things like that, because there are so many moments that I know need to go out there. So I was started telling you this off camera, and I'll do it on camera now because we're here. One of Junie's defining characteristics is he explains his stupid bits to the point of like it's no longer funny.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, that makes it funnier to me
Mm-hmm.
because I am my biggest joke. I like to
Oh,
make myself laugh.
don't worry. You're gonna have to explain this.
Okay. So you had said record this. Like
Uh-huh.
record me opening this.
Mm-hmm.
My plan was to sit down in front of the camera and go like, all right, camera ready, good. Look to the right, camera 2. All right, good. There was gonna be another camera. Camera 3, another direction. Camera 4, under the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was gonna get up, go to the door, and outside the door, camera 5. I was gonna have 5 cameras simultaneously recording. So when I reacted, I would be able to cut to various dramatic angles
Mm-hmm.
of me opening this. All right. If I'm
You-
reviewing Sticker
you
Mule's
and-
packaging,
You and
I'm
Rosie
not a
both had
fan.
trouble. Here's the thing. Isn't there like a pull
no,
tab thing?
no, that's what I was immediately looking for, because it's very similar to like Amazon or somebody else's where it looks like it should.
Hmm.
And it
We're
might.
not
And
here.
sometimes
We're not here to review Sticker Meal's packaging. Sticker Meal, close personal friend of the show.
I
We'll do an ad for you.
I believe that there's always room for improvement,
Yeah, there
and
is.
you know what
Their
I mean.
packaging is
Eh,
a little
if I
difficult to
flavored
open.
my constructive criticism as like negative feedback, that I apologize once again. Junie can't control the tone that comes out of his mouth sometimes. But like even like a little perforated thing, obviously that's hard because you
Yeah,
don't want
you're
somebody
having
to
a
be able to
lot of
open.
trouble with this.
No, I found. I just, you know what it is. I just try to find like one way, because once I get that one little bit, I can
Hmm.
open it easy. So I was trying
Yeah,
to find that one bit.
yeah. Rosie
Okay,
also had trouble with the one that I
okay,
sent her, so you're not alone here.
okay, okay. So the first thing is this coaster. It says "Cheers."
Yeah, that's not it.
I know,
That comes free in the
I
bag.
know, I know, I know.
Quality gift though.
All right, here's a little card. Oh, more packaging. Talking about their design studio. Man, okay, all right. From the shirts that I've seen you get,
Hmm.
and the little bit of the interface I've seen them do, I'm like, it's one of those things when you go like, oh, Sticker Mule does shirts, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's like, it's a fun surprise. Okay, so there is an article of clothing inside this bag.
Yes.
So, all right, how can I do it in a way where it's? This is why I was gonna have multiple cameras. All right, there's a blade. Oh dear God. It's a chicken.
Let's
What?
see.
What? Hold on. Hold on.
Open it up.
Oh,
Show it
God.
to the camera.
Is this gonna be the most Puerto Rican shirt I own? Hold on. Oh my God. Okay. Not trying to muscle in on your ex. What the fuck? Just trying to do crimes. Holy shit! This is the best shirt I've ever owned in my life. I've never. Oh my God, this is the most personal shirt I've ever owned in my life. Oh my God. Not trying to muscle in on your ex, just trying to do crimes. No one will ever understand this, and this is my favorite.
You are absolutely
shirt.
gonna have to explain this shirt on the stream right now. Oh my goodness.
I vaguely recall saying the what is now my favorite shirt line on the planet.
Oh
Oh
man.
my God. That is,
Yeah,
I said it like that. I forgot I said it like that.
in the Humblewood game on
Oh my God.
not this past one, the one before it. Junie was interrogating a like some street thug person.
It was a guard to a door, and
Yeah,
I don't know how it came out that one of us joked that it was Aki,
Aki rolled to see
our
if they know
barbarian.
them, and
Someone
rolled well
someone made a
enough that
bit,
they knew it.
but so one of us made the bit where it was like, oh, it's their ex, like as a
Right.
joke,
We just kind of
not in
jokingly
canon,
said that
not in canon that it
oh,
is their
it's your ex.
ex.
Don't so sorry that like
I
Heroico
want to
is
put
like
on that shirt right
going in
fucking
on it.
now.
But Junie's response when we started joking that it was Aspen's ex was to immediately be like, I'm not trying to muscle in on your ex. I'm just trying to do crimes.
That
So as
is both
soon as he
that is
said
both
it,
hilarious and also very incredibly problematic.
yeah,
Potentially problematic. It's like, what do you mean?
it
You're
is
obviously doing something forceful and you're trying to do crimes. Wait, what? What do you
it is a
what?
shirt that you probably can't wear anywhere.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm gonna wear
Oh
that
man.
to everywhere. Oh my God. And
Uh,
because it's just enough to be like it's such a combination
mhm.
of themes. Like there is a D20
Yeah.
at the very top. It's
Show off the
yeah,
design because
yeah.
I'm very proud of it.
I like it. It's you know what it is. If you were to say, Junie, design a shirt, and you gave me these things, I would not design this, right?
Hmm.
It's like if I was like, oh, I'm gonna go build a turkey and cheese sandwich, right?
Hmm.
But if anybody goes and builds me the same thing, it's like when someone you care about makes that thing for you, and
Yeah.
it like, oh, they make the same damn sandwich, but it tastes way better.
Hmm.
This is so perfect, and I would not, I would not have gotten the combination of things, but there is there is a D20 at the top. It's surrounded by barbed wire. That's the part that I'm like, what? but why? And I'm like, okay, sure, like chicken wire, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Um, and whether or not they're
Yeah.
supposed to be raven's feathers, like there's feathers
Hmm.
bordering it, but like I always frame his spells and stuff not looking like his brown or white or red feathers. They always look like his mom's black
Yeah.
raven feathers. So in my head, I'm like, these are like raven feathers. It is a hen, I will say.
Hmm.
But you know, he is a rooster, so muscling in on a ladybird. Um, since 2023, as if I've established this problematic persona, which is great. And then just trying to do crimes, and underneath it, a sword,
Hmm.
which does make it seem like I'm going to kill. Like if somebody were to see this, not trying to muscle in on your ex, in my neighborhood, in my urban area, it would just look like I'm implying that someone's woman is a chicken head, and that so it's like I'm not trying to muscle in on your chicken head, and then underneath it, it would say just trying to do crimes. So, and where I live, this can be taken so many ways, but it's confusing. It's a
Yeah.
lot of confusing ways.
I
Someone
intentionally
will assume it's a
put
hot sauce shirt
yeah.
somehow. I
Well,
don't know how,
that
but
was
somebody will.
that was kind of the vibe I was going for though. Was like I wanted
Like
to
a
make
dark
it look
sriracha,
like yeah, like some sort of like intense label that would be on something.
oh,
That's
it's intense.
yeah. So yeah, I had a lot of
I
fun. During that session, like in the middle of that session, almost immediately after you said that line, I got on Canva and started like designing it. And I actually once I was done with it, I dropped the image into the group chat for the
Are you
Humblewood
serious?
game, and it was in there. And like Rosie and I were going back and talking about it in the chat, and then I decided that I wanted to print it on a shirt and send it to you, and
Oh my
I
god,
didn't think you had seen it yet, so I deleted
I had
it
not.
and
I
deleted
had
all of
not
my
seen it.
messages revolving around it,
Oh,
and then
you
just like
clever
moved
bastard.
on.
Can I tell you something? To be completely honest with you, that makes me appreciate the shirt so much more. It's a everybody. You want to make somebody appreciate something? Tell them the story, because sometimes that adds that little bit of extra flavor. I appreciate uh, uh, the level of what do you call it, subterfuge? I don't know, but
Hmm.
wait, it's just like I didn't just delete that. I deleted every message revolving around it, and I'm like, I respect that because I would have gone in
Yeah.
that level of plausible deniability that was gone into it. So good. I don't know if I'm going to Gen Con or not, but if I am wearing the hell out of this shirt there. Uh, I've like I don't know how many cons I'm going to this year, but I'm submitted applications for things, and I feel like this is going to be worn, and people will ask me. I
Oh my goodness.
also will not lie and say that I don't want a never let them know about your next soup
Oh yeah,
shirt,
absolutely.
because I now know more than one person that has it,
Hmm.
and I am not jealous.
I
So
the next time Sticker Mule does a like a promotional
promo.
thing, or if you just want one, I'll just send you one. But yeah, they the Never Let Them Know Your Next Soup shirt is one of my favorites right now. I've worn it to a bunch of places that it makes even less sense for it to be. Like there's a place in Harrisburg called City Island, which is like they've got bars and like a baseball park and stuff like that there. But we went there for Mother's Day with my mom. And so I'm like sitting at the bar on Mother's Day on City Island, just like down by the river, and just like sitting there. It's a cold day, the wind is blowing, and I'm sitting there just wearing my Never Let 'Em Know Your Next Soup shirt, and I'm like talking with somebody, and like this person walks up and they see it, and I can see them read it, and there's like that moment of processing, and he just goes, "I love that.
Right?
That's so good."
It's
And then
just one of
like I have
yeah,
had
it's
people take
exactly how that
pictures of the
vibe
shirt
is.
multiple times. People have stopped me
Yeah.
and asked me if they can take
You know what?
pictures of
And
it.
here's the realization. I think that you and I are both doing this. I was telling Shanice about it. I was my wife. No legal name. No, anyway. I was telling Shanice about it, and I said like because people are like, yeah, people think it's a thing. It's from a thing, and she's like, it is from a thing. It is from me. And I was just like, it
Right.
is from our thing. You know what I
It
mean?
is
Like
from
this
our
is a
thing.
legitimate. It is a legitimate thing that
It is a
happened. It's a
quote from our
quote.
show. Yeah.
Yes, it is real. It is valid. It is seen. We're a TTRPG morning show,
We are.
and
The only one.
the only no, well, hold on. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought we said TTRPG show, and I was like, hold on, there's more
We're
of those.
the only
We're gonna start a real
No,
flame war. Hey,
we're
hold on.
gonna be the only one.
Yeah.
We're
We're
the
as far as
only
TTRPG.
we're the only TTRPG morning show, as far as we know. If you are also a TTRPG morning show, let's start a feud. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Um,
We're better than you. Uh,
um,
anyway, what are we talking about today? What we're
dude,
supposed to be talking about today?
I made a joke on Humblewood
Dumb.
about doing a Build-A-Bear workshop inspired one shot. I don't remember how we got to that topic, but it made sense in the moment.
I
Um,
said that for Seattle, for the live show we're going to be doing at a mall in
uh-huh.
Seattle. I said that I was going to be doing my best to control my volume and language
Mm-hmm.
for our show, so that way I don't scare any children that are coming out of a Build-A-Bear workshop.
That
You
is
went
how
into
we got there.
Build-A-Bear,
Yeah.
and then I laughed, and then somehow the mental gymnastics you had to do, I don't know, but it was me saying Build-A-Bear, you mentioning, and if I'm putting your business out there, did you say something about working in a Build-A-Bear or something
I
to that
used to
effect?
work at Build-A-Bear. I was a manager
And
for Build-A-Bear Workshop.
holy ball, okay.
Yeah. Um,
Wow, okay, that's a whole thing that I'll open up another day. But then
I
there was the leap to
you
you were
said
just gonna we're gonna write an adventure on Build-A-Bear.
you said that we were you made the comment about you didn't want to scare a child coming out of a Build-A-Bear. I said
Mm-hmm.
that like the mall better hope that the stage they have us on is not near a Build-A-Bear, because I'll just go off and do, like, I can easily do a tight 15 of content on just Build-A-Bear workshops because I used to work there. And you then said, okay, quick, give me like 5 things that you could talk about Build a
I
Bear
was like,
Workshop.
what would a type
Yeah,
15 be
and
like? Okay,
I
yeah.
said not now. Let's do it on the show. We'll do a whole adventure based around Build a Bear Workshop as a joke, and then it was very quickly like, well, I've made the joke. Let's do it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So this morning, we are Build a Quest Workshop. We are bringing you an
Ooh.
adventure inspired by Build a Bear. So here's the thing that I want to start with, Junie. How literally do we want to be inspired by Build a Bear here? Do we want to be inspired in like the like, let's start with the name, and the main character is named Bill da Bear. It like, do we want to go that way? Do
I,
we want to go into like genuinely inspired by like the workshop itself? What
I
how
think
are you
there's
feeling?
elements that I think there's elements that that can translate easily that make it that anybody can flavor it however they want.
Mhm.
My favorite settings or themes, or like whether directly like parodies, ripoffs, or like inspired by, is when you can boil it down to a point where it becomes agnostic of setting and you can kind of put it somewhere else. So
Sure.
something like a workshop can be something in a fantasy setting, it can be something in a sci-fi setting. You know what I mean? So a workshop of some way, shape, or form,
Mhm.
I think is not crazy. When I was outlining stuff, like just to give us an idea
Mhm.
to work on stuff, um, the when you think of Build a Bear, the whole point is you're building something. But and you know better than me,
Mhm.
isn't there something like there's essentially like a process component of like you're gathering things. I mean you're picking like the bear, the outfit, the
Mhm.
whatever. So almost like fetch questy type of stuff. And the items I had originally, we can go wherever we want, but like it was something like stuffing, like some sort of magical stuffing,
Mhm.
literally a or where do we go here? a magical stuffing, a rare gemstone, and some sort of enchanted piece of parchment.
Hmm.
But basically, whatever components would be to animate something.
Hmm.
But then, what I think we're getting ahead of ourselves when we think of like that's me getting ahead of us. We're gonna need to think about what things we're gonna need for the adventure.
Hmm.
So if we know we're doing Build a Bear, what elements? How you did the right thing in the beginning, where it was like how 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 close are we sticking to it? Do you want to go anything further than something along the lines of involving a workshop, further than building something?
Hmm.
Uh, do you see the route of stopping somebody from building something? Do you see from something? Do you see like the party is trying to build something
Hmm.
for themselves, for someone else? What when you think about it, where's the easiest route? The one you lean towards? Where would you go?
I think we can go in two directions very easily. Um, and I will pitch them with just two different versions of this workshop because I think it's very funny if it is built around like a workshop that like builds something, right? That
Yeah.
like you are going there, you can like help in the process of building, you could build your own like, but we can set the adventure there and then have like, oh, and as a reward for your quest, you'll get to go through the process and like build your own or something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
So there are two ways that we could do this. One
hmm
is it's like build a construct, right? Where you are
Yeah.
building like
hmm
a golem, and you're like choosing what type of golem, you're giving it life, like you're going through this process. The other one is more on the like cute side, which would build a familiar. And
hmm
it's build a familiar workshop. And it's like you go
Okay.
through and like make a little animal creature. And you could be like, okay, well, I want it to like look like a bunny, but it's gonna have like wings and like a little bit of a scorpion tail or something like that. You could like go through and build it. But the I think that leans more in the like spirit of Build a Bear, whereas the like if you were to build a construct or a golem or something like that, I feel like that is easier to plop into like anything. But I also do really like the concept of just a magical workshop that will just appear places, and
Oh.
then you can build a familiar, and like going through the whole process of like creating it and bringing it to life and like naming it and bonding it to you and like going through that whole process. And maybe we do it in a way where the build a bear or like the familiar is a if you go through the workshop you could if you aren't able to like cast find familiar, you could still like have a familiar that was bound to you and you like gain the ability to cast find familiar for this creature.
When I was like generating stuff for it, one of the things that came up was like magic items was like a stuffed animal familiar. And it's
Mm-hmm.
a loyal familiar that takes the form of a party member's favorite stuffed animal. And it's like I imagine combining Flying Familiar and like one of those wondrous figurines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like a wondrous figurine where it'll turn back into a stuffed animal that like you may have to repair or something like that.
Oh my
Um,
goodness, that's so
instead of
good. Yeah.
so it's like one of those things where when you kill, it'll turn back into a figurine. Uh, but it's like it's just a recharge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Find familiar, it's you got to take the time to resummon them. So for this kind of stuff from Find Familiar, it's a matter of maybe you don't have to get the exact stuffing, like oh no, it's lost its enchanted stuffing, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, but it's like it turns back into a stuffed animal, and you
Yeah.
have to just make sure it doesn't get like caught on fire or anything like that.
I
Um,
like the concept of like it is a familiar that like is a stuffed animal, kind of like
yeah,
Ted,
yeah,
where
yeah.
like it's a magic living stuffed animal. But if we go that route, it could be like that's a very easy way to like have it be a consistent place that the players will want to go. Of like if they have this magic stuffed animal that like gets into combat and then dies in the combat and it's just laying on the ground as a regular stuffed animal, you can just bring it back to the workshop and they'll fix it up for you. But like you can't just resummon it.
Yeah.
I think that's very very fun.
Uh, I was when I was thinking of plot hooks, there's a few different ones because it was a matter of, are we doing this for someone? Are we doing this like, is the group doing it for themselves? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
if there's a magic user, maybe there's a wizard that wants to do it this way or something. Um, and it's something like, oh, what if like the owner wants to, like, it's a workshop that maybe hasn't done it yet or wants to do it, and they're running out of very specific material. There's maybe like an eccentric wealthy person that wants you to go get this, and then we know that throughout the process or afterwards, the party will either end up with multiple or Build-A-Bear themed things.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like somebody is sending them to go do it. I really thought it was interesting, the idea of like finding it, like if it's like a
Mm-hmm.
a workshop that pops in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So either like just them finding it, and then it's like they're in this magical workshop, and it's uh they just get to go through the process, and that leads me to something that I realized I've been wanting to ask since this beginning. There is a process, is there not?
Oh, you want to go through the whole process, Junie? I can
You know,
take you through the whole process.
well, if I understood correctly, it's like very specifically like, in order to do a Build a Bear, like the kid way or the quote unquote way, there is like a, like almost like a 1, 2, 3 whole step process. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, there is
Okay.
a beginning to end process for Build a Bears.
Okay. Is it like, oh, there's five, or is it like, oh, it depends, like is it always like, oh, it's these four things?
So
Just number
first,
wise.
let's see. It's like bare bones because you can do it as simple as you want.
Yeah.
If you just
Yeah.
want a
Yeah.
bear, it's just there's the like the skins and then
Yeah.
the stuffing.
Yeah.
If you are like an adult who refuses to embrace magic and you
Hmm.
don't want to like
Do the
be
whole thing.
involved
Yeah.
in the whole thing, that's all you would need to do.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you don't even need to actually stuff it. If you are like not interested in doing that, you could just hand it to somebody and be like, "Stuff this for me." But
Yeah.
at that point, why are you at Build a Bear?
Correct.
So the like main ones, right? The main things that you're gonna need to do are you're gonna need to choose the skin that you're going to use. You're going to need to choose if you want to put a sound into it. You are going to need
Ooh.
to fill it up with stuffing. You're going to need to put a heart into it. You're going to need to choose if you want any like clothing that you want to put on them. You're going to name them and print their birth certificate. And then you're going to go through the checkout and they will give you a little like box that looks like a little house. And that it contains the Build-A-Bear.
Okay. This is fantastic. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 things. Okay, this is good. That is really good. Uh, they do scents now. Rosie
They
and
do
Pat
do
said they
they
do
do do sense now
smells.
as well. Yeah,
Okay.
they started rolling those out while I was there. There are a lot of like very good ones. There are some that are absolutely horrible, but there are some that smell very good.
Okay. So if this is gonna be a
Blah, blah,
beginning,
blah,
middle, and
blah, blah.
end, beginning, middle, and end, definitely the party will be tasked with this. Find out, learn of it, whatever the situation is. They'll go through the process, and then there'll be like the resolution. Um, I love that we can drop those things in, either like in chunks, like there's multiple, like they can get multiple things in one spot, or like you can definitely center a thing around it. So when I think of like the skin, it's literally kind of like almost like not a Willy Wonka area, but like essentially where it's just like a menagerie, because you have to
Mm-hmm.
decide, like this will be where they decide what it's going to end up, and it won't have it until like it'll just be a like just a rag doll of nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
But they could that would be fun to do a let me see. This is actually really good. Uh a table, because I like using a lot of tables. Uh a table of animals, that, like, a stuffed animal like animals that they could use for what they would end up with. If obviously if somebody knows what they want, they want a rabbit, like, well, there's that. But going for rolling to see what you find, what you get, I think that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Also,
Mhm.
I did just check. There is no Build-A-Bear at the mall that we're performing in Seattle, which is a real
I'm
shame because if
Yeah.
there had been, we absolutely would have gone and built a Build-A-Bear.
We know we would have most definitely done that.
Oh man. Oh, Forge a Familiar is so good, Rosie.
That's really good.
Oh man, that's incredible. Okay, yeah, Forge a Familiar. So your first step is you have to design your familiar. To me, so have you ever been into a Build-A-Bear?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you first walk in, there's just like bins that have the like different types of familiar or like Build-A-Bears, right? So there's like the
Hmm.
different bears and like dragons and turtles and elephants and whatever. So I think it would be very like fun and fitting in the like theme of Build a Bear while still being like new. Of if instead of having a like this is just you choose a bear or you choose an elephant or you choose like anything like that, if instead of that each bin had like different body parts, so you're like choosing what you want to build, so you're building like some little Frankenstein creature of like of what you wanted to build. So you could build like, okay, I'm gonna give this like frog legs and like a lobster claw and like stuff like that. And so you're building out some Frankenstein creature. Or if you wanted to, you could always just build like one solid thing that was like, I just want a teddy bear. So you're just gonna put like all the pieces and put it together to be a teddy bear. But having the ability to be like, I have Frankensteined together this creature
Like a
is,
chimera.
yeah, yeah. Like,
I think that that definitely works for a like, what do you call it? If it is they I think that having one or more people end up with that option compared to the other ones
mm-hmm,
is kind of funny. Like, cause like I generated like a table of
mm-hmm,
like of potentials, right?
mm-hmm.
But then it would be very funny if it's like you rolled a whatever, they you have to, for whatever reason, have to go to the bins. Like, you reach in and then you pull out, like, somebody pulls out a bear, somebody
Mm-hmm.
pulls out a dog, or like, here I have like a hippogriff, a dragon, a chimera, a beholder, whatever it is. But if they pull out chimera, or if they
Dude,
pull out like a bigger
a
number,
freaking beholder would be so cool.
you
Just
know what
like
I
a
mean?
little
But like,
floating plushie.
yeah, but if it's like you get the something, and it requires other pieces, like what if there was like, oh, one through 10 or 11 is like a thing, but if they roll higher than that, it's a thing that needs pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then it's that. But if it's a chimera, they're going to be rolling for different, like, because chimeras are technically supposed to be like a goat head, a lion head, or whatever. But the
Mm-hmm.
way I always interpreted the word was just a fusion of things,
Sure.
like just like this
Well,
is an amalgamation of different creatures.
maybe they have like they have the regular bins of like their best sellers, right?
That's good.
Of like here is just a regular bear, here is like a bird, here is like, and it's just sort of some of the like basic familiar stuff.
Hmm.
And then there was an ongoing joke when I worked at Build a Bear about like, why doesn't Build a Bear have a like behind the curtain, like back room sort of area where you can build like more adult items. Which is funny because recently, like within the last couple of years, Build-A-Bear has started doing what they call I think it's Build-A-Bear After Dark or something like that,
I
which is
remember something like that.
which
Yeah.
is adult Build-A-Bears, but it's like it's not. It's the same
Yeah.
Build-A-Bears. They're just wearing
It's just
like a
a
sexy silk robe
yeah,
or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
The so what if there's like the regular bins? It's the like the front facing store, but for the discerning customer, in the back room there's just like bins of different like stuff that you can put together, and it could be okay, the front bins are the stuffed animal familiars that we talked about, right? Where like they're a stuffed animal and they like come to life and they're like, I love you. And then they're just like walking around and they're just like little like tickle me Elmo familiar. Like that's in the front bins. If you want to make like a real living creature that you Frankenstein together, that's in the back. And I also think the entire shop is run by like an eccentric gnome whose name is Frankenstein, and is
Mm,
very insistent on that.
I
I
I
don't know
believe
why
that.
every like weird magic shop that I make is ran by a gnome. I feel like that is their purpose in D&D, is to be those wonderfully eccentric magic users. And this feels like a perfect spot for it.
That tracks. No, that tracks.
You could also go the opposite direction, and I could see it being a furbolg as well, just being this like absolutely massive person that's building tiny little familiars.
That's good too.
That's also very good. But I feel like if we do it as a gnome, that is, it almost has a Santa's elves vibe, that I very much appreciate.
I Oh no, that's really good. That's
Um,
really good.
Rosie in the chat says beholders cost extra. Each eye stalk is plus one gold piece. I could very easily see like, okay, well you want the front of house stuff, or are you looking for like the stuff in the back? And they're like, oh, we're here for the good stuff. And he like takes them into the back and he's like, okay, here are the basic options. If you want access to these options, you're gonna need to upgrade to the platinum package. These options are
Mm.
all additional cost. But like imagine additional cost items that are uh like you can add them to whatever. So if you wanted to like make a basic one and then you're just like, okay, so I made just a regular dog, but also he has wings, he breathes fire, and he has beholder eye
Oh.
stalks that come off of the top of his head. Like this is a this is a perfect spot for like a kids game, because every kids game wants pets,
Oh God, yeah.
or any other game, because every group will be like there is somebody in that group who desperately wants a pet in the game.
Oh yeah.
um
It's bananas.
Most players want pets of some sort. Most groups have somebody who is absolutely hell-bent on acquiring one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I used to have a an NPC in one of my in my games who was a traveling merchant of exotic animals, is what he said he was. And realistically, he was like a zoo that would like travel from town to town. And if you asked him, he would sell you the animals. And so he had like baby owl bears and like a baby displacer beast and like a container full of cockroaches, the rust monster things.
Mm.
Like, and
Oh man.
he would sell you like anything you want. So his main client, he had a long conversation with the party once about this. He said his
Mm-hmm.
main clients are people who are building dungeons and need monsters to staff them.
I feel
Like
like you told me about this.
that
I
is
feel
his
like I
main
remember that
clientele.
part. I remember that part of
Um,
the you telling me. Yeah.
yeah, but he sold two baby owl bears to a party of mine, for like an absurd amount of gold, but like they were high level adventurers and they wanted baby owl bears. Um, but yeah, like there are players that want pets, so having a magic shop that can just like make you a pet that is beyond what you would ever find in the real world. You could also, like, if you really want to get into it and start tying it into like the lore and stuff, you say that he is descended, like the person who runs the shop is descended from because like owl bears and stuff like that are all like monstrosities because they were like made a long time ago by like powerful magic users, right? You say
Mm-hmm.
he's descended from that line, like my great great grandfather created displacer beasts and now I made Wolfie. He's a talking dog that breathes fire. Like that is immediately just tied
That's
into
really
the
good.
lore in the dumbest way possible.
That's really good. That's really good. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's freaking good.
It's just like it's the opposite of like have you ever seen the movie Young Frankenstein?
Yes. Yes.
So in that movie, the entire movie, he's like Gene Wilder's character is just like it's pronounced Frankenstein, and like my grandfather was a madman, and
Yeah.
like he's just so determined to distance himself from it. This guy is just the exact opposite. He's like, oh yeah, you've heard of owl bears? Crazy man, my great great grandfather, he just took an owl's head and he burnt it into a bear, and now we have them. It's crazy. But anyway, this is my cat that if you poke his nose, he turns into a bubble.
Mm, that's it's still furry. It's like a furry bubble.
It's a furry
It's
bubble.
magic. It's magic. So like
Yeah.
it doesn't need to make sense. It
Do you
just
ever
yeah.
those things that they sell at conventions that are like just giant round plushies? Have you seen those? They're just like
Like
big
a
round
koosh
plushies
ball
of like
type of
different
thing?
things.
Okay.
But it's just one of those.
Oh,
It's
I
just
see
like
what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. So look, if we're thinking of like when I was like plugging stuff in, all right. So if we're thinking about like, all right, there's three things they have to get, like something like a skin, like the whatever the animal is. So it's like there's that. Um, you said they need a heart, so like some sort of magical gemstone in the shape of heart. Like
mhm.
I'd said that. So that's the thing
something
that's
that
gonna like
something to power them. Yeah,
yeah.
they definitely will
And
have to do a heart ceremony because that is an important part of every Build-A-Bear.
okay, that's important.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
then it doesn't fully kick in until they do the naming and the birth certificate, and for
Yeah.
that they're gonna need this magical parchment
yeah.
in order. So like that like all right. So I said like the stuffing, but that could be but it's like we have the things they need to get in order to build it, and
Mhm.
whether or not they're all in the same place as far as I don't think they should leave the workshop.
I agree.
I think it should be
It's little quests within the workshop to like
yeah.
prove yourself worthy of one of
It's
my
the,
creations.
the place has to be Willy Wonka-esque enough where it's there's multiple places they can go into in this one place without it being there in the same room. Like we don't want it to be like they're literally in a small
Ugh.
workshop, but like it's one of those. It's bigger on the inside,
Yeah.
and whenever they go into a different room, it's fantastical, and whatever the theme is, it's a menagerie. It's
I think this workshop should be kind of like a spirit Halloween, where it just
ooh.
moves into a building that is empty. And like
Oh
you never
wow.
like they never like file any paperwork, they never do anything. They're just like one morning everybody gets up and there's just like Forge a Familiar just is in one of these buildings in the middle of town, and then like the next day it's gone.
That's really good. I'm writing that down. But yeah, no, a forge a familiar, and then it moves into an abandoned building, randomly. That's
I
good.
I also, because you said Willy Wonka, now all I can think of is the scene where Gene Wilder is like, you get nothing. You stole fizzy lifting drink. But it's just like somebody being kicked out of Forge of Familiar because he's like,
You get nothing. You stole magic stuffing instead of earning it. You are not
That's good.
worthy of one of my familiars.
Like nothing costs money. It's all about the adventure and like but there are small add-ons like
Right.
hats
yeah.
and like 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 little like
Nothing,
it's just like
nothing costs money unless you want to buy a tiny denim vest.
yes, it's just like that is, and they're all reasonably priced,
Yeah,
but it's still
they're all
like,
made by his mom.
yeah, it's just like I support local businesses and
Yeah.
like Okay, so they need to get like whatever it's gonna be, and the stuffing, and then they're gonna need a gem, something to power it. The sound part, I think, would just come from like it would
You
be
have to
animated.
choose. You have to choose the voice.
Like, do you want your familiar to
I
be able to
I
talk? What languages
I
would you like it to speak?
I still think, and it could be the other way around. I like maybe it's like they all get to pick one. I still like the idea of there being one or more people that get a thing, like a bear, a
Hmm.
whatever, only because there will be the comparison of I have an owl, it
Hmm.
hoots, it can fly. I have a dingo alligator squirrel,
Hmm.
and this is what, and but it sounds like a chipmunk.
His name
Like
is Ronald.
yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like it has to like it's like you got one that's missing this, so you got to get a, it's like almost like, do you get a complete animal, and if
Right.
not, then you have to like, all right, what parts is missing? Everything's compatible, so it's just a matter of
Well,
getting the parts and
I
fashioning
think
it together.
inevitably, like if you have a group, I think there will inevitably be somebody who will want to make like a regular animal. And there will be some people that want to make a horrible monstrosity, and I think both are funny. Like
I think both are
if
funny.
you
I
have
just know I
if you
hate
have
it when it.
if you have an entire group that builds like horrible Frankenstein monsters that are all like hybrids of these things and have claws and eye stalks and wings and stuff, and then you have David, who is a bunny, and that's it.
I guess what I do is I like to put the balance of, if somebody can't be creative or is forced to be creative, it's like put on the dice,
Hmm.
instead of me going, all of you be creative, and then there's a person that's like, I want to just do it, and then it's like, oh, I'm lazy, I picked a giraffe because I
Hmm.
couldn't come up with something. So it puts it on the table or something like
Hmm.
that, so it's just like, it's not your fault, it's no one's fault, and then we can all help you through the
Well,
process because
let's
you were
add
being
a
punished by the dice
let's
type
add
of
a
thing.
third option then,
Hmm.
of like you can make a regular one, you can go through, you can make your own, or you can like let the familiar find you.
Yeah, that's good, that's
Like
good, yeah,
I
yeah.
can so picture I can so clearly see this character that is now living in my head, just it being like,
Too many wizards are concerned about casting Find Familiar, and they're not concerned with familiars finding you. The familiar chooses the wizard.
Oh God.
and just
Slowly
having
became a
like
wand choosing ceremony.
just having like a different room where there are like oh, you could make it sad. You can make it sad. There can be a room where there is like people who have gone through and made something and then decided they didn't want it, and
Oh
it's been left
no.
behind in this other room. And he's like,
These familiars, they're just looking to be brought to life by someone who loves them.
and like if you want to go through there, you can like have the like roll the dice and have one of these other creatures, that it will be like fully determined based on what like what the dice say, but one of these other creatures can like choose you, but if you do that, you are like bound to it. The I think that would be very very good. Like I could see a like a player walking in there, and you could have like pre-made ones, or you could have like random generators that generate every step of it.
I think they would be like, like, all right, roll me a this, roll me a this. So it's like the first thing's like the sounds, like roll me this is like you hear a roar. Roll me a this, you hear hooves.
Hmm.
Right, and it's just like, it's like, all right, roll for the sound, roll for the body, roll for if there's any additional things, and it's just like you find like it has like zebra legs, an alligator body, wings, but they're like wings of like a hummingbird, so they're really fast as fuck.
I was also
And
thinking hummingbird.
yeah, right. All right, so I wrote all that stuff down. All right,
I love
so
that.
all right, so we got we know what they can be getting, like the gem, and like the parchment for the naming ceremony.
Hmm.
I think that the payoff should be that the thing finally comes to life. Like it,
Yeah.
it, it shouldn't be like they get it throughout the thing. And it's like they're growing with it. It's just like, no, it pays off that You named it. It's alive. It's here. It's yours.
Have you seen Good Omens or read the book?
No, I know of it though.
So in Good Omens, one of the things that they do is like the demons send a hellhound
Yes, I do
to
remember
the
that.
Antichrist.
I think I've seen the first episode. Then. Yeah.
And like they send the hellhound to the Antichrist, and the whatever the Antichrist names it will bestow power to it. It takes its power from the name that is given to it. So if they name it like Throat Ripper or Blood Drinker, something like that, and then he ends up naming it just Dog. Like that is what he names it, and so it just is a regular dog. But like it's sort of in that same line of like, in order to give it its power, it needs to have a name. If you want this to be bound to you, you need to forge that connection by naming it.
I like that. I like that.
The Another thing that I just thought of that Build-A-Bear does, the tags on the animals at Build-A-Bear, the bottom of it gets ripped off, and that little piece of tag gets put into the bear. And then when you go through and like name it and stuff, you're actually registering the bear. So if that bear is ever lost, it can be brought to a Build-A-Bear, and they can open it up and they can pull that little piece of paper out, and they can try and get in contact with the person that it is registered to get it back to them, which is very, very cool. But I also like the concept of like, because these familiars are not like summoned by like a find familiar spell, you get one, and then if it ever like gets lost or like dies in a horrible fireball explosion or something like that, it doesn't die, it disappears, but then you get like a message from like the find familiar workshop or something like that that's like,
Hi, we just had a horrifying hellhound creature dropped off by the name of Mr. Sparkles. It says here that he's registered to Guthar the Barbarian. Is Guthar there? And like you have to go back to the shop to like pick up your familiar, because it can't just be re-summoned again, unless you are like a magic caster that can like cast find familiar, at which point it can be bound to you as a familiar that way instead.
I think that there's a few fun ways you could deal with that then, because one, it's all right. It was turned back into a stuffed animal, and so bad it like poofed out of existence. You get a sending spell sent to you saying that your familiar was recovered. It's almost like isn't there is a spell where it is, if you put it on something and the thing gets like destroyed, or like there's a way to kind of like a reset point, like it will go here type of thing. Like it's like almost like a save point, you know what I mean?
That sounds familiar. I can't place the spell.
I can't place it either, but something about essentially like, yeah, like there's a registry, like the tag is saved in their tomes of whatever, and so if something ever happens, it does come back there, because like when a find familiar gets like poofed out of existence, it goes into its, not its pocket dimension, it goes back to the, like, you know, the Fey realm or whatever it is, right? Because they're all Fey creatures, I think, right?
Familiars can be Fey, fiend, or celestial.
Okay. So it's kind of one of those things.
I think
like
all creatures from this one are Fey.
Well, yeah, they're all stuffed. They all just kind of come back to this realm. This is their realm. This stuffed magical stuffed animal realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
they're
like
their own category.
Yeah, it's like instead of just getting poofed out of existence, if it's so damaged it's gone, or just beyond whatever.
Yeah, because they're a construct.
It gets poofed here. So it's never like it's gone forever. But if you are magic, one new thing I've been loving to do with magic users is letting them do something that normally they couldn't do, but at an exorbitant cost.
Yeah.
So if it's something where it's like maybe you can cast find familiar or not, but if you can cast magic, it's just like, all right, if you want your animal back, you always have like a ticket, you know, whatever it is, like essentially like your recall token, your bear token, whatever it is, to go like, I'm the owner of that thing, right? And it's you can use this. It's like a magic item to summon it back. However, you have to you know, essentially pay the fee,
right?
And the fee will be something equivalent to one or more spell slots. Because
okay.
you have to
Yeah.
juice this thing. If this thing is just
You have to
more of
bring it
like
back.
this, exactly. So it's like a magic item that can do a spell, but in order to do the spell, you still have to expend the energy that would be used into it.
Mhm.
So if it's like, oh, it's a necklace of fireballs, it can cast fireball, and I can't. But fireballs are this level spell, so I have to spend that many spell slots to charge this bead.
Mm,
And I've
got
just
it.
developed a concept that I really love and I want to use now to give people spells without giving them free spells.
Mhm.
Because it's just like, oh, I got a necklace of fireballs. Well, you can't use it because you can't use magic. But can't just it's like you gotta charge it, bro.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, here's a spell you can't use.
Right.
So find familiar or summon teddy bear. And it's like you still gotta use a first level spell slot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've given like warlocks in the past. I've given like magic like evil spell books essentially that contain magic that is beyond their capability, and they can cast spells from it beyond their casting level, but they take 2 levels of exhaustion for every level beyond their ability to cast. So like if it is if they're trying to cast a 5th level spell and they are only able to cast 2nd level spells, that's 3 levels above them, which means 6 levels of exhaustion, instant death.
Oof. Oh.
But they would be able to cast the spell. So I've had players do some like crazy stuff with that. To like really, it usually ends up being used in a way that is like, this is the end, the part like we're gonna TPK. I will cast a 9th level spell, and just like like you turn to ash because it's so far beyond your capability. But it like you're able to save everybody else in that moment. I've done some very fun stuff with things like that. We are at our normal wrap up time.
I think I have like the things that would help us like just tie this in a bow.
Yeah.
Because I think we have all the main pieces. So, what's the name of our owner? We're going with a Frankenstein type of thing, because what I like to do is I like to take sometimes just the names of all the characters
Mhm.
and then like real life things that I know I want something to be based off of,
Mhm.
and then making an anagram out of it, and so that way I know that this is Frankenstein, Wonka, something or other, and it's only a bit that I know at this point.
Right. I could see it being like 2 different ways. We could go with like his name is Frankenstein. Like that's very fun. You could also go with like you give him a regular name, but his last name is Monstrosity. And like
Ooh.
and it's like, oh yeah, like all of the monstrosities, like owlbears and displacer beasts and stuff, all of those are like they're called monstrosities because my great 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 grandfather, Montgomery Monstrosity, is the one that made them.
That's really good.
Like, why do you think they're called monsters? It's because they were made by my great 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 grandfather. I kind of love the concept of Montgomery Monstrosity now that I've said it.
That's actually really good. That's actually really
It's
good.
such
So I'm just
it's
gonna write
such
that
a
down.
dumb thing that, but like words have to come from somewhere. Like, why are they called monsters? Because a long time ago, somebody named Montgomery Monstrosity, created the monsters. Like they had to come from somewhere. Oh man,
That's really good. Okay. And then the
I
other
don't know if
like
D&D has like official lore on who created like owlbears and stuff, but as far as I'm concerned,
I think
going
they said
forward,
wizards, because a lot of times it's always
Montgomery
like wizards.
Monstrosity. If you ever need somebody who created owlbears and displacer beasts and stuff in your world,
That's fantastic.
it's Montgomery Monstrosity.
So another thing is like for other NPCs, so it's not just this one person. I put like a helper in each area. So essentially, there's going to be like somebody in each area. So there's like the picker area,
Mhm.
there's like the heartstone area, and then like the records area.
Mhm.
Would we make these like elevated stuffed animals or other gnomes? People that are clearly like this is a part-time job, and they're like, like people
I
you'd find in a
feel-
mall Build-A-Bear. Like, what
I
are you
feel like
thinking? Hey, what's up?
I feel like we have mostly very excited fey creatures.
Okay.
Like pixies and stuff like that. Most of them are like that. Except for like one person who is just a human and is very done with it. Like there has to be that one person there that is just not enjoying their job and is just like sweeping up fluff or something like that.
Then either the first area or the last area, because it needs to be either like they're gonna set the tone where it's just like, oh, everybody hates it here, and then everybody else is excited. It's like, what was up with that first guy? Or
Right.
like the first two people were like so into it. You're like, what's gonna be the third? Happy go. It's just like, hey, this is where you write down the name.
Did you want to buy a
and
leather jacket for your
we
stuffed
just-
animal?
Hey, we're gonna write down the name of your guy, and that's gonna be it. Do you want to add anything to like a hat or a special flower or something?
We have a sale on Phillies jerseys.
I'm just ready. So for records area, I just put sad. So
I think
so-
I think it needs to be the person who does the like the clothing add-ons.
I think that's at the end.
Because
That's
I think
at the end of at the end of the transaction, you always try to do like upsells. So he's at the end.
No.
He's doing
That
No?
is after you've built it. You go there before you go to the computers to name. You need to like the computers to name, and then usually what ends up happening is the kid who is building the bear is going through the naming section while the parent is paying. Like the computers to name the animal are next to the register.
Okay.
So like this would be you go through picking it, built like filling it up with stuffing, giving it its heart, getting it all sewn up. Then you go into like clothing and accessories. Then you go to the computers and the checkout.
Okay. All right.
I think in
All right.
this case, because it is a whatchamacallit, like a magic shop where they're bringing things to life, you would check out and then name and bring to life.
Okay.
Like the
Okay.
naming and bringing
Yeah,
to life would be like the last thing you do before they go through like the final checkup and make sure that like everything
Okay.
looks good.
All right. Okay. That's good. All right then. And plus, also everybody can like, because I think I'm actually gonna write this up because we have a website that I'm trying to like make sure we start having stuff for.
Mhm.
I want to have this just written up. I'm gonna actually like do things.
This feels like very good Patreon content. Like it's
like,
very good.
Anytime I come up with like NPCs or anything like that, it's either always a table, so that way it's just like who's gonna be where,
Right.
or like I know when I ever use anything that's pre-written or something like that, it's not set in stone, and I never want anybody to think like, oh, this is how you run the Build-A-Bear. It's like, no, obviously you put what you want where,
Right.
how you want to do it.
Yeah. However it
but,
works for
like,
your game, for sure.
Yeah. However, like having these big pieces, these big chunks of things that you need, these people, these locations, this process, the order of operations is up to you and your party and your game and stuff like that. The like locations, obviously whatever works like for whatever generic workshop looks like for the beginning, and then I think going forward, whatever random theme of a location you want to make, but then just theme it to the thing. So if it's like if the Hearthstone thing is like a dangerous mine, or for the workshop part, maybe it's like in the initial workshop part, that's where you are, and that's where you get like the skin. Or I thought it'd be cool if it was like a menagerie where there's like stuffed birds flying around, and it's just like you have to go to bins or cubbies or portable holes or whatever to get whatever you're gonna get. And then like
Rosie does raise a good point of if naming and bringing to life are the last steps, that makes sense for like the blank slate builds, but doesn't necessarily work for the abandoned ones, or explain why there are abandoned ones. That is a very good point. I could very easily
what if they
see
got
it
to the end? Well, what if they like, how he said like if they get destroyed, they come back here. What if
Oh,
people
it's
didn't come?
ones that people have just never picked
People
up.
never came back for.
Oh, that's
And
so
it's not like,
good.
and it's not like, and it's either
It's
the people
not
are
people
dead.
got bored during
Yeah,
like the stuff.
it's either
Yeah,
people died, or no, what if people abandoned them? You know what I
yeah.
mean? What if it's just
It's
like this
people.
person's made for 30 years?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I think it's not crazy, but it can also be that
It could be
still
ones
doing the
that.
naming process, because it's just like
Yeah.
your name was this is your name, and it's kind of like
Right.
rejuicing the magic.
Yeah.
So you can still do the whole thing, because it's just like you're known as Fred now.
Right.
And like this is your name, this is what's going to be the power, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
abandon you.
Like you have you go in to choose one of the one of the lost familiars, because that's such a good pull from Rosie for lost familiars. The you go to pick one of those, and you find like one that has like some arrow holes in it, and like clearly is singed and stuff, and you're just like,
but it'd be good if
would
it wasn't already.
They would also not be conscious yet, in my opinion.
Correct.
You're like taking it and getting it fixed and like renaming it and stuff.
I imagined it like if it either like got de-stuffed over time, or whatever it is, like not having that connection, that tether, that love, whatever it is. It's essentially, if it had a stone, if it had stuff, if it had any of the stuff that it would need to get, you are essentially, if not just replacing it, you are rejuicing those things.
Yeah.
So that way it's like, you know, you're either breathing re-life into it, or almost reincarnating. And if you're taking all the stuff out of it and putting it in a new body, kind of, it's like, this is now your new life, your new lease on life thing. Or you could rejuice it and go like, you're still you, you're still, you know, I mean, if somebody wants to build that kind of connection. Now this could just be a bunch of fetch quests. But before we go, what kind of encounters, if any, would you put into an adventure like this?
Oh man.
While you're thinking of that, when I was thinking of other items, one of the things that came up was teddy bear armor. Imagine like a 1 chance, like a 1 in 20 chance or something like that. One of the skins just being a full person size. And it's like, oh, that's one of those I've never been able to use. No, if you could, I'd probably just wear that. And it's essentially just a +1 armor, but it's a bear suit.
It looks like a bear suit.
Yeah, so essentially your paladin can just be in a bear suit, a stuffed bear suit now, and they have +1 armor.
So funny.
Of whatever type of armor they want to say they have. But you can get teddy bear armor.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't count as its own armor. It adds +1 to armor that it is put over. So whatever armor you're wearing underneath a giant.
Class, yep. So
it's like a cloak of protection, but it's a teddy bear.
It's a teddy bear.
It's a full teddy bear suit. Okay. For encounters, I think I'm detaching the thought of like this is a shop where they're making toys, and going into like they're making crazy powerful magical constructs here. So there are like if we're saying there are 3 things that they need to do, I think there should be a thing that they need to do at each of those places. So for the heart, we're saying that it's some sort of like gem or something like that they are like will breathe life into it. I feel like there is just an entrance to like a dungeon or a mine or something like that they have to go down and like find one and harvest it and bring it back, and then like go through the ritual to like breathe life into it. So you could easily have like rock elementals or things like that. You could also there one monster that I definitely want in here is the what I would call the lost toys, which are just like forgotten familiars that have found their way down into like the mines or something like that, and are like trying to harvest their own hearts to like give themselves life, and just go real dark subplot out of nowhere. But like you have to fight through these creatures that are trying to give themselves some semblance of something. Or it could even be not, because we already have the like forgotten familiars. Instead of going like with more of the like lost toys, it is like wraiths or something that are like trying, because these things bring life to something, they're trying to like get them to be able to give themselves life again. Well,
that's why I do like the idea. Like it's still making it a little sad, but like if it is like the ones that were in the like the abandoned, lost, that they had previous owner things, there's a difference between like, oh, my person died, or like, couldn't use, like, whatever it was, and like abandoned or like left or something like that.
You were dropped off back at the
and then
place.
eventually those would, like, I can imagine, just give it enough time, become corrupted and angry.
Especially if they were dropped off there still like fully awake.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But like enough time has passed that like they're starting to lose it. They're starting to
so it's just one of those
back.
like they get angry, corrupted, and then they're just like little like mean goblin type thingies at that point. So I think having like
I do like that. That's very good.
Like stuffed animals that are bad, for the sake of like they're gonna like, we don't want anybody to have fun and joy. We're gonna destroy everything, and they're past a point of like, nothing can save me now. Like, you know what I mean?
They're almost undead stuffed animals at that point.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it is anything that they were is now gone.
Right.
So that, and like I also think, what if in an area, whatever stuff that, like, if it's in the gem one area or something like that, that has the power to bring things to life. So an unfortunate side effect of that is sometimes things that aren't supposed to get life. So it's just animated objects, mimics, animated objects, things that aren't supposed to like normally get life. Oh yeah, careful, those shovels might get you.
There's lots of like lots of furniture from the workshop that you would recognize as the same furniture upstairs, but it's just alive and running around downstairs.
And because it's just a mindless creature that's gonna just attack things, it's like, oh, by the way, part of it is like believing in the heart and trusting it, but also you might fight a chair.
Don't die. Like,
don't die. It's also a little.
Oh my goodness! Imagine a, like, you're going down there to harvest this, and like, because it animates stuff, you see like animated armor moving around down there, but it clearly like still has a dead adventurer inside of it, and the armor has animated and is like attacking you. So it's like a zombie, but it's not. Like, it's the armor is what's alive there.
I know what the final check should be. Like, everything should have like one final roll. And I think that, and this is mean, I guess, but it is, we're giving familiars to people that would potentially not have familiars. I think the final thing should be an Arcana check as they're doing the final signature, and it not necessarily be a fail, but almost like a Pokemon situation that if whatever the DC is and they hit it, then it's like you have it like normal. If you surpass it by a certain point, it obeys you and it's like efficient. So you ever seen like a show, you don't watch anime like that, but sometimes like there's always the rival that's just way better than you. So it's like, if you can have like, if you hit it, you're good. But then if you rolled real high, it's just like yours is like a marine of familiars. You know what I mean? Maybe they have extra health or they get a little damage bonus or something. But if you roll real low, they're either just, oh, it's a sweet boy, but he's not good at what he does, or that boy don't respect you or listen to you.
Actively against you. Yeah.
No, not hurt you. It's just one of those things that, it's like, it's not going to kill
you. Doesn't obey,
but
it's not
really going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And it's more of now like a bratty, it's a toddler. It's just like, it's there. It'll sleep near me. It won't kill me or my friends, but it's like a little jerk. It'll do it if it feels like doing it. So you have to roll persuasion or animal handling constantly to make them do stuff.
One of Daniel's old characters, he had a familiar, and the familiar was like taken from him. It was like the connection between him and his familiar was severed, and like the familiar was taken away. And so he like tried to summon a new familiar because he was going to like go after it, try and save it. He summoned a new familiar, and his new familiar was just this. It was a fiendish spirit. It took the form of a cat who just didn't want to do anything. And he would be like, I'm gonna send you down that hallway. Like, just look around the corner and tell us what's down there. And he'd be like, What is in it for me? I do not. This is not for me.
I love that
I
it
am.
talks.
I am
'Cause I don't
fine.
usually my familiars don't usually talk, so that's
Oh,
funny.
most of my familiars have some form of communication with their master. This
I
one
love doing
specifically
it's
was
not
like,
words, but you get this.
yeah. This one specifically
keyboard
was
died. That's
definitely like hardcore. Was not interested in helping him at all. Was just there to like kind of keep eyes on him and stuff. It was very fun. I love that. I feel like there's stuff that we could absolutely continue to build out on.
And I think
but,
we'll do that in our Discord.
Yeah.
Anybody check out our Discord.
We'll do
definitely.
some more on Discord. We'll also we'll probably end up when we finish this and like flesh it all
Yeah.
out. It'll go up on Patreon and stuff. But I think we have a solid beginning here. To a little Build-A-Bear one shot. So yeah.
Good times. All right. So, Hunter,
Mhm.
before we go, it's Friday.
It is.
What should our calls to actions be for the weekend?
Well, in keeping with Build-A-Bear, I will go with instead of a call to action this week, I'm gonna run you through a little heart ceremony here. So everybody, hold your hearts up. You're gonna rub your heart on your back so that your friend always has your back. Now you're gonna rub it on your knee so that your friend always needs you. You're gonna jump up and down so it has lots of energy. And you're gonna give it a big kiss so that it's always filled with so much love. Then we're gonna put that into your friend here. We're gonna stitch him up and you're off on your way. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. We will be back on Monday with more Warlocks and Waffles, 8 a.m. Eastern. Until then, have a great weekend and remember to embrace the nonsense. We'll see you later. Bye.